Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the OG Rope Break podcast. I am your host, Jean-Paul Leek, and today we're talking about NXT UK. And, we've been talking about it. Here it is, the final episode of NXT UK. Bittersweet because, man, they really delivered two great matchups for us here on this show. But this is the end of it for now. Like we said, NXT Europe is starting up, this and that, all the releases, most of the people we saw on this show, we won't even see for, till next year if we see them at all. But, our thoughts and all that on NXT UK, the releases, NXT Europe, everything like that. Please go check out the previous videos, comment your thoughts, or even comment your thoughts on this one as well for the whole NXT Europe and everything else. But we're going to have a busy week besides NXT UK. We have the Clash at the Castle. We have the Worlds Collide and AEW. So lots of stuff going on this weekend. And, we want to thank you guys for being along with the ride for us. And let's get right into it. So we had the Fatal 4-Way match to determine the number one contender, which, again, I love this show and it's great. And if you can watch it in a vacuum, in a bubble, and not watch NXT 2.0 or pay attention to the news or the dirt sheets or anything else like that, you can really enjoy it. But this was spoiled. We've seen Blair Davenport. We knew she was the number one contender for a while. So like we said in our previous videos, this is something where it's kind of like, how much can you already know who's going to win it. But man, it was still a great match. Like I said, Blair Davenport, Amel, Isla Dawn, Eliza Alexander, and they put on a show here. Obviously this thing early on, they're going to have all the women shine. Everybody's going to look good. A big spot for the big superplex. What do they call it? The Tower of Doom or something like that, where you have all three people on the ropes. One person underneath flips them all down, so that was Amel who actually was the one underneath who did that. Isla Dawn takes a big spill out of the ring. You have Amel. She gives big boots to Blair Davenport and Eliza that are both set up in the corner. And then Amel starts, hyping herself up to the crowd. They're cheering her. Isla Dawn appears behind her, big move and everything. But the other two women, they kind of attack Isla Dawn. Amel hits the Hope Breaker. All three women jump on top to make the pin. So it sucks Isla Dawn. I know that probably pissed off Juan. He's probably going to say, oh, it should have been Alexander who got pinned first. What the hell? This is, BS. But hey, they took all three women to lay on top of her to pin her. And, that at least does something that says, hey, it took three to keep you down, or they wanted to make sure you stayed down. But she was the first one to get pinned. And then later on, surprisingly, I thought this was going to come down to Amel and Blair Davenport. So I wouldn't say I'm mad because, you got to give Eliza Alexander props in this match, especially. I thought she was fantastic. Probably the best showing for her. And it's a shame we didn't get to see more of her. Hopefully, like we said, they re-signed her for NXT Europe. But before I get ahead of myself, the second pin here came where Blair Davenport, she did a drop kick, and Eliza kind of pulled Amel into it. So Amel got hit with a big drop kick. And then Blair was kind of, then Eliza, I think she hit Blair. So Blair was stunned. She's looking, who do I hit? She hits the ropes, comes off a big knee strike right to the head of Amel. Amel sold it like a gunshot. She was just down and out. Eliza pins her, and then we see the final two. And they had a good little single match back and forth and stuff. You saw Blair, she did a big stomp from the top. And as soon as she climbed up for the stomp, I thought, oh boy, here we go. But at least it was in the ring, not to the outside. So thankfully she was good and everything. She hits a stomp, but no, that wasn't it. Eventually you see Eliza, she kind of jumps up and tries to climb to the top, or at least to the middle rope, but her legs are shaky from the match and everything. She sells it. So Blair jumps up, big, vicious, suplex, or belly to back suplex, from the middle rope. And then she hits a big knee strike of her own and then picks her up for a Falcon Arrow. And man, this was awesome. This really was like, okay, Eliza Alexander's legit. She sold this thing. Like she tucked her head at the last moment, man. And it looked like she planted her and just turtle headed her. Like it looked like bad, but you even saw her say to the ref, I'm good, I'm fine. Even, if you could read her lips, you saw her say that. But, Blair Davenport's the winner. Fantastic match. Like we said, we knew she was going to win and it sucked, but sometimes you got to just shut your brain off and go, okay, let's see how the other three pins are going to take place. Let's see how the other three eliminations fall, because that'll at least make it more interesting, because you don't know how that goes. At least I didn't. So great match there. And obviously no oh, this is happening in 2 weeks from now because it's done, it's over. So nothing like that. So boom, we went right into the next match. I mean, they had a little hype video. You see Trent Seven in the back looking at his phone. It's a picture of him nut shotting Tyler Bate. So Trent Seven's looking at that, get himself hyped up. You saw stuff like that, but nothing real crazy. And we saw Kenny Williams, Saxon Huxley. Only thing I have to say about this is Saxon Huxley got a win. So that was cool. Otherwise, it does. Nobody cares. Doesn't mean anything. And then here we go. The main event, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven. Man, they gave these guys at least 25 minutes, half hour. I don't even know. I could be wrong, but it had to at least have been 20, 25 minutes of pure match time, not entrances, whatever, bell to bell. This was great. Fantastic match. This was like a Sting Ric Flair or whatever, in the sense where it's like, what two greater guys could you have, the final match on the final show? It had to be these guys. And I mean, they told the great story here. Both guys, they locked up right away. The wrestling, they were in each other's face. They knew each other. Tyler Bate would try to go do a move and something, and he'd flip Trent Seven, and Trent Seven would know how to land a counter it, and he'd be right on his feet. They'd have to stare down because, even in the promo, the hype package, I found this kid. I thought, man, this kid is such raw talent. Let me just help him along, and, I can set him down his path. And, Trent Seven pretty much said, then, yeah, I helped him out, and I was there for a lot of these moments, and we shared them together. But really, when you look back at them, they were all Tyler's moments, and I was kind of just there. They weren't mine. So I helped this kid, and what did I get? I get nothing. He gets all the accolades. So then you kind of saw they were showing how the seeds were planted for the heel turn and everything. Obviously, great video package, and I'll talk about the one they had at the end as well. But back to this match, I mean, this was great. Like, this is one you go back and watch. This is up there with the Ilya Dragunov and Walter matches. This is fantastic. They were hitting each other's finishers in this match, and that was cool. Tyler Bate hit the Tyler driver, I think Trent Seven actually hit the 7-star lariat first. He kicked out. Tyler Bate hit the Tyler driver. He kicked out. A big Emerald Frozen from the second rope, or from the top rope, I believe it was. And, Tyler Bate, he went for his, where he does that like spinning, I don't even know what you call it, a tornado or whatever. He does like a spinning splash, whatever, corkscrew splash or whatever onto Trent Seven. But Trent kicked out. I mean, they were just hitting each other with everything in this match. It was insane. And they were hitting each other's finishers. He went for the Trent Seven. I think after he hit that Emerald Frozen, he picked them up, and it was at some point, it was either right after or soon after. Like, I mean, they were hitting each other with everything. Go back and watch this match, folks. It was amazing. But he gets him, and he goes to hit him in Pete Dunne's finish. And they at first, what's his name? Andy Shepherd was like, oh yeah, the third member of British Strong Style, because he didn't want to say Butch. So props to Andy Shepherd not want to say Butch. But then you have Nigel McGuinness. He called him Butch, but he goes to hit, his finisher, the bitter end. But then, Tyler Bate counters it into a DDT. Great spot there. Like I said, and then they hit each other's finishers. Trent hit the Tyler driver, Tiger driver, whatever. And then Tyler Bate hit the 7-star lariat. I mean, this was just fantastic. This was great. Eventually, he hits it, the Tyler driver, 1, 2, 3. And, that's the end of, and also they had the figure fours reversing on each other. Like I said, I mean, this match had everything. And it would have felt so much greater if we would have been able to see a promo next week about what the champion's going to do, about what Trent Seven's going to do. I mean, we know what the champion's going to do. He's going to be challenging Braun Breaker in 2 days. But, what about these other guys? That's what sucks. It's like, that it's just like you built this all up, and then it's like a whoopee cushion. All the air was just a big fart came out. But I mean, I don't want to, not being Vince McMahon with a potty humor, but I don't want to shit on these guys because they had a fantastic match, and the crowd was into it. The crowd was into the Fatal 4-Way. The middle match, nobody cared. Everybody knew what it was. But this last, the main event, the crowd was into it. They were heckling and jaw jacking with Trent Seven. They were cheering Tyler Bate when he hit that Tyler driver 1, 2, 3, and he won. Place exploded. They loved it. The granny was there again because it was the taping. So I love seeing the granny. So that was great. And, what a way to close the show. Tyler Bate, he sat there in disbelief thinking, I'm a 2-time champion. This is the end of the brand. I had to defeat my best friend, turned bitter rival to do it. A lot of emotions for Tyler Bate. Trent Seven only had one emotion, probably just, anger, probably many actually, but, disappointment is probably the biggest one, or anger. But, so good stuff there from that main event. Fantastic match. And then they just had a nice video package, kind of just showing everything. Tyler Bate winning the tournament, Pete Dunne, Walter, Ilya to this. I mean, just kind of showing the transition of the champion, world heavyweight champion, everything, how the brand evolved. And like I said, bittersweet is the one way I would describe this, whether Trent Seven's feeling disappointed, Tyler Bates ecstatic. I feel bittersweet because it's like, this was great, but it's the end of it, at least for now. But, hopefully we see a lot of these guys. We have been seeing them on NXT. Don't care for the gimmicks too much, but hopefully they can survive that. Maybe when they get to the main roster, things will change. Go back to maybe how they were here on NXT UK versus how they are in 2.0. But guys, we're going to be joining you soon. We will see you. Maybe I'll see you. Maybe it'll be both. We got to see. The schedule's crazy, but we're going to deliver. The Clash at the Castle, Worlds Collide, AEW. They're all coming. Guaranteed. So, guys, we will see you then. And make sure you follow us on all the social media. Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify, and Twitch. And then also make sure you subscribe right here to the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break. So we'll see you next time, guys.